demonstrator for today. Today, we'll show you how to do a plant paraffin method. So what is plant paraffin method? Plant paraffin method is a method used in preparing a selected portion of a plant tissue that involves fixing, dehydrating, clearing, impregnating, and embedding in a paraffin wax, forming a block that is cut into thin slices using a razor blade or a microtome and to be examined under a microscope. Here, we use a bougainvillea stem as our specimen.
Here are the reagents needed. Formal acetic alcohol, different grades of alcohol, which are 70, 80, 90, 95, and 100% ethanol. 5% glacial acetic acid, 10% formalin, paraffin wax, xylene, hematoxylin, and eosin. While the materials needed are distilled water, copper sulfate, ice, beaker, graduated cylinder, Petri plate, forceps, razor blade, filter paper, paper boat, tray, hot plate, tracer, glass slide and cover slip, cotton swab, Canada balsam, microscope, and of course our specimen, bougainvillea stem. First is fixation. Fixation is a process of preserving the tissue to maintain the form of the cell. Here are the fixatives used in formal acetic acid alcohol. To prepare this, we need 250 ml of 80% ethanol, 25 ml of 5% glacial acetic acid, 50 ml of 10% formalin, and 175 ml of distilled water. After preparing all the needed reagents, mix them all together with distilled water.
Second is dehydration. Dehydration is a process of removing water from the tissue. Here, we need different grades of alcohol. These are the 70%, 80%, 90%, 95%, and 100%. To obtain the given percentage of alcohol, subtract the percentage required from the present percentage of alcohol to be used. The difference will be the proportion of water to be added to the said percentage amount of alcohol. On the other hand, preparation of 100% ethanol needs heating of copper sulfate under the flame until turned into white ashes and adding of 80% ethanol. After this, transfer it into a beaker, then filter it using a filter paper to remove residues. After preparing all the needed grades of alcohol, we can now proceed to the hydration process. The specimen will be soaked first in 70% ethanol for 5 minutes, 80% for 5 minutes, 90% for 5 minutes, 95% for 5 minutes, 100% for 5 minutes, and another 100% for 10 minutes.
Third is clearing. Clearing is a process of removing alcohol.
Here, we use 100% saline as the clearing agent. The specimen is soaked in saline for 10 minutes. Followed by another 2 changes of saline for 10 minutes each also. Fourth is impregnation. Impregnation is a process whereby the clearing agent is completely removed from the tissues and replaced by a medium that would completely fill all the tissue's cavities and spaces. This gives firm consistency to the specimen and allows easier handling and cutting of sections without causing damage to the tissue. Here, we use 100% paraffin wax. The paraffin wax must be grated and melted first using oven or hot plate. In this process, the specimen is put on a melted paraffin wax for 30 minutes. Followed by another new melted paraffin wax also for 30 minutes at 56 degrees Celsius. Take note, always keep an eye to avoid overcooking of your specimen.
Fifth is embedding. Embedding is a process by which the impregnated tissue is placed into a molding container like paper bath, allowing it to solidify.
Now, pour the melted paraffin wax on the paper boat. Here, the specimen is positioned in a paraffin wax mold. So that when sectioned, it may be viewed transversely or longitudinally as needed. Sixth is trimming. Trimming is the process of removing excess wax from the tissue block. But take note, only thin slice is taken out at a time to prevent the tissue block from cracking. Here, we will trim the paraffin block by cutting away excess paraffin using a safety razor blade. Do not trim too close to the tissue and leave about 5 mm of paraffin surrounding the tissue on all sides. Take note, be careful when using a razor blade.
Seventh is sectioning. Sectioning is a process whereby the tissue is cut into uniformly thin slices or section using a razor blade.
Here, the tissue is cut appropriate for mounting on a slide. After this, the specimen will be boiled first on water to remove the paraffin wax. 8 is staining. Staining is a process that makes the tissue constituents more visible through adding of colors. This promotes easier optical differentiation and identification of the cell and tissue components. Here, the tissue will undergo deparaffinization first. First, soak the specimen in saline for 5 minutes. Another saline for 5 minutes. 100% ethanol for 2 minutes. 95% for 1 minute. 90% for 1 minute. And 70% for 1 minute. Now, we can proceed to staining. To stain the tissue, first, soak the specimen in hematoxylin for 30 to 45 minutes. Then wash with distilled water for 15 seconds to wash out excess stain. Then soak it in eosine for 30 seconds to 3 minutes. Wash again with gentle running of distilled water until no dye remains. After staining, gently blot the excess water using filter paper. Then, dehydrate using 70% ethanol in 10 seconds. Repeat it for 3 times. Now, clear with saline in 1 minute. Repeat it again for 3 times.
Ninth is mounting. Mounting is a process of placing the tissue on a slide using a mounting medium.
Here, we use Canada Balsam as the mounting medium. Use tracer as a guide in order to place the tissue at the center. Then cover it with cover slip. After mounting, let it dry and clean with saline using the cotton swab. Now, the specimen is ready for microscopic observation.